Hello you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's actually pouring rain right now, hence the mood lighting a little bit. So I thought, let's just film my September monthly reading wrap-up video. I have 5 books I'm going to share with you guys. I feel like 5 books is pretty average in a month for me to read. I am a little bit on the slower pace just because I work full-time during the week, so a lot of the times when I read it's before bed or on the weekends. This month was actually a really busy month for me, so I will say I'm proud that I read 5 books. But anyways, I'm going to go through each one. We'll talk about them. I read 3 on my Kindle and I have 2 physical copies I'm going to share with y'all. So hopefully you guys will get a good book recommendation out of this video, and if you've already read some of these, definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments because I would love to know. And if you have any book recommendations for me, feel free to leave them in the comments too. But anyways, let's get into it. The first book that I read this month was actually gifted to me by the author. It's called Longing Recollections by Savannah Corona. This is the first book that she's ever published, and I think it's self-published. I just want to say thank you again for letting me read your book. I think that's so special, and I just feel so honored that you wanted me to read it and give you feedback. This is like a little novella. It's really short. I think it was like 150 pages. It's like a coming of age novel. It has a little romance in it. You get to follow the main character as she goes from 6th grade into adulthood. It's like childhood friends to lovers romance. I thought the story was really cute and there's a lot of potential in it. I really loved the theme of love that is talked about a lot in the book. She talks a lot about like love with your significant other, love that you have for your friends, and also love that you have for yourself. I decided to rate that one 3 stars. It's also available to purchase on Amazon if any of you guys are interested. Then the second book I read this month, I read for the book club that I do with my friends every month. It was another romance called When in Room by Sarah Adams. This one was super cute. I rated it 4.25 stars. If you guys love reading small town romances, clean romance, if you're a grumpy sunshine girly, then I would definitely recommend you guys check this one out. Basically think like pop star meets baker, which I'll just put it out there. It really reminds me of Taylor Swift and the Travis Kelce thing that's going on because you guys know that I am a Swiftie through and through. This story follows Amelia and her journey to Rome, Kentucky. Basically, she is the pop star in this situation. She just feeling really overwhelmed with life and needs to get away, so she gets in her car, drives to Rome, Kentucky, and ends up breaking down in the front yard of this guy who is Noah. He is the grump in this situation. He is the baker. And she ends up having to stay with him, and they end up having a really cute romance. It is one of those really basic Hallmark small towns, but I didn't think it was very cheesy. I really enjoyed Sarah Adams' writing. It was very funny and lighthearted. There was a lot of tension between the 2 characters and a lot of healthy communication, and just the relationship was really adorable. I really enjoyed all of the different side characters in the town and just how much love that they have for each other and how they fiercely protect one another. I thought that was really sweet, and there is a twist at the end that I didn't see coming. A very fun and cozy, cute romance. I think Noah is my favorite grump that I have ever read in a book so far. Then the third book that I read this month, I have been reading little pieces here and there. It is a very short book. I read it as a devotional. It's a Christian book. This is called Anonymous by Alicia Britt Cole, and I have been recommending this to literally everybody under the sun because it's just such an incredible book if you are a Christian and you want to learn more about Jesus and his life, especially if you're in a season of waiting, if you're in a season of preparation. I think you will really relate to the topics that are explored in this book. It is theoretical because the author does explore a lot of like what Jesus's life was before he started his ministry at the age of 30, and she talks a lot about what his time was like in the desert when Satan was tempting him for 40 days and 40 nights, and she goes through each temptation and explains different things that Jesus did to deflect and just basically ignore the enemy. The premise is just so well thought out and it's beautifully written. Like the writing in here really moved me and inspired me. It made me change my perspective about seasons of waiting and actually made me want to delight in them, and I did shed a little tear at the end. I can definitely see myself rereading this. It really reminds me of that quote that says, if you're waiting, you're in good company, because Jesus waited 30 years to start his ministry, and if you look at all of the famous people that are talked about in the Bible, Bible in their seasons of waiting, they have waited really long times, like 10 to 20 to 30 to almost like 50 years in some cases, for God to call them to the purpose that he had for their life. It's definitely really inspiring, really encouraging, and I would definitely recommend that you guys check it out. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, specifically the last 2 videos I've posted, you would know that I am in my Throne of Glass journey right now. I reread Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in the series. I've already read The Assassin's Blade. I decided to read that one first. But this is a fantasy romance, really famous. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. I actually read it last year, but I never ended up continuing with the series, so I decided I wanted to reread it. This time around, it was really, really slow. I actually demoted my rating from a 4-star to 3.75, and it was just so slow it ended up putting me in a book slump, which was not okay. Like, I think it took me like 2 weeks to finish this book. Obviously, it's still really important, and I'm glad I reread it to refresh my mind, and I am going to be reading Crown of Midnight soon because I have my hold on Olivia. But it was still really good regardless, and definitely let me know like what your thoughts are if you've read the entire Throne of Glass series. I think it's just really hard for me because I really love ACOTAR, and this was written first, so the writing isn't like up to snuff when you compare it to ACOTAR. And obviously, like the first book in a fantasy series, there's a lot of world building. So moving into the final and last book that I read in the month of September, this one was so cute. It pulled me right out of my slump. Definitely recommend trying it out if you are currently in a slump. I read it in 2 days. I didn't want to put it down. It was another romance book. This was Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I rated it 4 stars. It was so sweet. It's so romantic. If you guys have read The Song of Achilles, like this really reminded me of that. It has a lot of representation in it. Talks a lot about important topics that I think a lot of people can relate to. It's like an enemies to lovers with the Prince of England and then the first son of the United States of America president, which is actually a female in this book, which I thought was really interesting. The only thing I really didn't like about it was a very long book. The chapters are so long. Like, I'd start reading a chapter on my Kindle and it said I still have 30 minutes to go until the next chapter. That is incredibly long for me. I was giggling and kicking my feet the whole time. Like, this book was so sweet. I literally wrote Slay Kings in my Goodreads review. Some of the quotes in here, I'm going to read one because they're just so romantic. One of them says, "You engross my thoughts too entirely to allow me to think of anything else. You not only employ my mind all day, but you intrude upon my sleep. I meet you in every dream, and when I wake, I cannot close my eyes again for ruminating on your sweetness." And then another one I highlighted, "I thought if someone like that ever loved me, it would set me on fire." Like, are you kidding me? Oh, it's just so good. I'm so excited to watch the movie on Amazon that recently came out. Like, I'm so excited. You guys don't understand. You need to read it. So that is all of the books that I read in the month of September. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video. I know it was a little bit shorter. I hope it felt like a cozy little FaceTime of us just talking about some books. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you guys are having a great day wherever you are, and I will catch you guys in my next one.